Hey everybody, Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Laurel Blanchard here on Sunday, February 1st at 3 p.m. in the afternoon in Lake Mary, Florida. And currently it is 49 degrees outside. That is 30 degrees below our normal average high for this time of year, and we have officially broken records from how cold it was this morning. So it was freezing. If you were watching our coverage earlier on this morning, Jessica, Brooks, TJ absolutely knocked it out of the park with their coverage from this morning. They did an amazing job covering the cold and just showing how cold it actually is with all their experiments that they were doing. And also showing off your viewer photos, which we have a couple here. We'll show those coming up a little bit later on. But overall, it was just cold this morning. Like, you walked outside and it was immediately just a hit in your face kind of cold. And that's how it's going to be tonight as well. Good news is that the wind has died down, so the wind chills are going to be warmer relatively, but it's still going to be in the low 20s, especially in some areas as we head through the overnight tonight. So let's get into it. We are here for the next hour for you. We made it through halfway of the cold. Now we kind of have another night to go, but tonight is where we're expecting the coldest air temperatures as we head through the rest of the overnight tonight. So it's cold. We already went through half of it. We got one more night to go. And I will say, I just checked out in my backyard, so check out my Facebook page, meteorologist Laurel Blanchard. And I had to, my poor plants, the wind was so strong last night that the towels that I had over my plants actually got blown off. So unfortunately, I think a couple of my plants, especially one of my hibiscus bushes, may have gotten a little burnt last night, but I think we're going to be okay. Watered them really well. They're covered back up, so hopefully they'll warm up before we get the cold again once we head through the overnight tonight. All right, folks, so we are here again for the next hour. We are live on Fox Local, YouTube, and Facebook. If you have any questions or comments, hop on Facebook or our YouTube stream and follow us there. We have our streams going, and we're going to not only be streaming for the next hour, we're also going to be streaming on our Fox Local page at 5 for our 5 to 5:30 newscast, as well as later on tonight at 10, which will have another basically an entire show about the Florida freeze. So let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what you saw this morning. We have a ton of pictures here, and one of them I'm really excited to show of the cold and how people are preparing for the cold. So let us know how you're preparing for the cold. Did you think it was cold this morning? I was talking to my family this morning, and I'm originally from New England, and they were like, "Ooh, 40 degrees, that's a heat wave." And I was like, no, not necessarily. So in the comments on Facebook and on YouTube, let us know where you're watching from and if you saw any little bit of cold this morning. I personally was expecting to see a good amount of frost in my backyard this morning, but actually I didn't. I was actually kind of surprised, but I did see some snow, aka my dog Honey. She ripped up a toy and the stuffing was everywhere. So that was my snow report from today. But if you have any snow reports, any flurry reports, we would love to see them, and send us photos, send us videos. We'll pop a link up to that in a second, and actually we'll start with that. So if you have any photos or videos from the cold this morning, would like to submit any photos or videos of your cold prep that you're having and what you're doing, we would love to see that as well. So send in your photos, send in your videos. If you are watching this on a smartphone, do me a favor right now, take a snapshot of the screen, and then once you open up your photos, you can actually tap the QR code, and then you can actually submit your photos or submit your questions there as well. So there is that QR code right there. But if you don't have a QR code handy right now or a camera handy, I also have a handy dandy email as well that we would love to get your photos and videos with. So here, take a look at this. We have our Storm Team email as well as our newsroom email. We'll pop both of those up, so feel free to send us any photos, any videos. If you saw flurries, if you think you saw flurries, let us know for sure. Again, we love getting your photos and your videos and your questions. That was one thing that TJ did a great job with this morning, was answering all the viewer questions that we got. And it was just great. They did an amazing job this morning. I'm so proud of them. So that is what we're going to continue to keep an eye on basically through the rest of the overnight tonight, is another round of cold as we can take a look at the next couple of days. But as of our stream yesterday, we did really well. We did really well with our forecast when it came to the verification of everything. Overall, a lot of our forecast did really well. We did really well when it came to the wind speeds, and we also did well when it came to the timing of when the cold sunk in. So that was overall a successful forecast that we did. So very proud of us overall. And if you have any photos, you can send them to fox35stormteam@fox.com, or you can send it to me personally, laurel.blanchard@fox.com as well. And I also have one more email for you. We got to send it to our newsroom as well. So you can also send it to fox35news@fox.com if you have any photos or videos from the cold this morning. Any plants that you might have, any preparations that you did, we would love to see them. And we're going to be in for another round of cold tonight, so just make sure you are prepared for that. Seeing a couple of people writing in on our Facebook page down in Port St. Lucie, Krista saying that it was 31 degrees this morning. Yeah, it was cold for sure. And we'll take a look at those lows from this morning as well, because we officially have some of the coldest wind chills that came in from this morning. But again, we broke records. So let's start off with our frigid Florida air. Whew. Okay, so let's just start off with the records that were held before they were broken. Or in Orlando, 1936, the coldest was 28 degrees on February 1st. So this is today and today only. Record was 28. That was set in 1936. And that was broken back today, this morning, from 24 degrees. Sanford, low of 30 degrees in 1965. That was broken with 23 degrees. Leesburg, 30 degrees. That was broken this morning with 23 degrees. And in Daytona, also 30 degrees, broken at 23. And this is like by multiple degrees. Normally, when we see those temperatures really drop and we're battling those cold records, usually it's by a degree or two. Very rarely it's by multiple degrees. So this is something that is just really astonishing of how deep that cold really set in through the overnight, or through last night. And also our wind chills. So this is only for, and oops, I have a rogue number right there. Just missed one. Hold on one second. There we go. So these were just actually put in. So we just got the report from the National Weather Center of the coldest wind chills in the Melbourne coverage area. So unfortunately, this does not include Marion and Alachua counties at the moment. We're going to do a little bit more research because those numbers just haven't come in yet. But Longwood had wind chills this morning of 7 degrees. So that wind was still pushing through, still moving on, and that made those already cold temperatures of 23 degrees this morning feel like 7. Lake Buena Vista, Disney World. I have a couple friends that are there right now, and they are bundled up going through Epcot today for the Festival of the Arts. 11 degrees it felt like in Disney World this morning for the parks open. New Smyrna, it felt like 11, and in DeLand, it also felt like 11 degrees as well. So it was freezing this morning, quite literally. It felt even more cold, and it's going to even feel pretty cold as we head through the overnight tonight. Because of those winds, though, it's going to start to let up. And one picture that I am so excited to show, we'll show it at the top of the next break because we're going to be sending folks to break in just a second. But stay tuned. We have a whole bunch of viewer photos coming in the next couple of minutes. So it is really, really astonishing, some of the photos that we got, and we're seeing a couple people in the comments saying that they're going to send us photos as well. So yes, please send us your photos. We would love to see them as we take a look at the next couple minutes. But also, we got some new flurry reports as well, so we'll also show that coming up in a second. But overall, we are in for another night of cold. So they are low since midnight. It was freezing out there. And again, these were the lows that were clocked in early this morning. And if the graphic loads here, there we go. Yeah, so these were our low temperatures from this morning. This has been since midnight, and we usually hit our low about 2 a.m. We hit it at about 2:30 in the morning. This is when we saw the lowest of lows, and it was just frigid all across the region. Same with those wind chills as well. Those temperatures just totally tanked. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. Stick with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes. We're going to show your viewer photos coming up after the break, and we'll talk a little bit more detail about the cold. All right, folks, so this picture I am so excited to show off because we got this in from one of our own that went to Universal and braved the cold this morning. And this is the Universal globe that is in front of Universal Studios in Orlando. And if you've ever been to Universal in Orlando, the big globe has this mist and this little fountain underneath. And you can just see the icicles forming because of that mist. That has just continued to allow just that ice to form underneath the ball. So this is something that was incredible that we saw early on this morning. We are showing off your viewer photos. So if you have any photos in the comments, definitely share them with us. And we'll share an email coming up after we showcase a couple of our viewer photos coming up in a little bit. But if you have any photos or any cold preps that you're doing in order to prepare for tonight as well, we would love to see them. And we'll take another look at those temperatures that we reached earlier on this morning as well. But let us know where you're watching from and how cold you think it got in your area this time last night. So again, this is from Universal. And again, a great photo. And we have some other great photos coming up. This is from Pam Knapp in Oviedo. You can just see the ice all around the trees that they set in. It was just crazy how almost like perfect everything is cocooned. Just look at those leaves that are just perfectly encased in ice. And Brenna on Facebook, I just got your email for your photos. I'll see if I can try to get that in as soon as possible to show here on stream. And then in one of my neighborhoods that were close to the area, or in one of my surrounding neighborhoods that I live in, someone's sprinkler system went off. So it was actually really icy in a couple of neighborhoods in Sanford that people just forgot to turn their sprinklers off. And I think this is also the issue here as well. So this is from Alina in Popka. You can just see the ice from, I'm supposing, the sprinklers going off at this person's house and just quite literally encasing everything in a perfect shell of ice. That is just something that's truly astonishing, especially here in Florida. That is just absolutely crazy to me. And then we have this photo right here. This is JJ and Jonathan McKenzie from De Leon Springs, just showing again the ice that formed just off the trees. Again, it's almost like it's perfectly encased in just this layer of ice. It is something that is just truly astonishing. So thank you all so much for your photos. We appreciate it. Keep them coming. We'll show them on the news later on tonight, as well as later on at 10 p.m. as well. I'll pop up those 2 emails that you can send those to later on. But I will say, if you are going to send in your photos, we would absolutely love to see them, but make sure that you keep an eye on your email. So here at Fox, we need to get your consent in order to use your photos. You can't just send them to us and we can use them. We do have to send you a consent form. You have to answer a couple of questions for us, and then we can post them online on our Facebook page, on our YouTube page, as well as on the news. So make sure you keep an eye on your email. Send us your photos, send us your videos. We would love to show them off. Checking out a couple of the comments because we're seeing a few over here. Brenna saying that their fountain completely froze over. And Brenna, I got your photo. I'm going to try to get that in coming up in our next break. Palm Coast this morning, there was flurries last night. We'll actually get into that because, Stephanie, there was a little bit of a dusty detail, especially closer to Melbourne. But there was the possibility of a few flurry reports in Palm Coast, especially Flagler County late last night. Steven, writing in from Milwaukee, checking in. Hey, what's up, Milwaukee? We shared our winter with everyone so everyone can get in. Snow pile pics upon request. Yes, we would love to see them, Stefan. And seriously, though, stay warm and stay safe out there. Thank you. We appreciate that. Jim says it was 24 degrees in this morning. It's cold here as it is in McCordar Station, Antarctica. I know. Isn't it wild how crazy cold it was this morning? And again, we are colder than Juneau, Alaska this morning. Juneau, Alaska was 35 degrees, and we were well under 10 degrees this morning. And then also saying it was 10 degrees, again from Stefan, writing in saying that it was 10 degrees here in Milwaukee with a -8 wind chill. Steven, you can keep that up in Milwaukee. Yeah, we Floridians, we're not made for that. So, good stuff, though. Thank you so much. But one question that I did see on our Facebook page, as well as our YouTube comments as well, is the wind. The wind was killer last night, and that it's literally just sent a chill down your spine. As I was walking out of the station last night, probably at about 12:30, I'd say, I was wearing this originally, and this is just a fleece. This doesn't have any like lining on the inside. It's just the fleece, and the wind pierced through this. Like, it was literally almost felt like nothing. So dress warm tonight. Luckily, though, we're not going to have the wind. But with the wind yesterday, it was wild. Good news is that wind is slowly starting to die down. We are no longer in wind advisories, which is absolutely huge. But we still are seeing those a little bit of breezy conditions. But yesterday, And in the next break, we'll actually talk about this because this is a little bit of a fun fact that the National Weather Service and I kind of put together last night while these winds were picking up. These were the winds from yesterday. I know it says today. I just forgot to edit it. Peak wind gusts from yesterday, 48 miles per hour at the Orlando International Airport. Sanford was 48 miles per hour as well. And also the Space Force Base, we had 45 mile per hour winds. That is crazy. Higher than tropical storm gust winds is what we saw last night. And that actually brought up a lot of dust and dirt into the atmosphere. And we'll talk a little bit about this coming up in our next break, because I know that's going to be coming up soon. But it is wild how many weather sensors actually picked that dust up as snow, but there were also flurry reports. There were flurry reports of Palm Coast, Jacksonville. We'll take a look at those flurry reports, as well as more of those flurry reports that came up from Tampa earlier on this morning. So those winds really were our story yesterday. Today, it is the cold. And I saw someone write in saying, when is the cold going to, or when is the wind slowly going to start to die down? And that is a great question. Let me see if I can find the graphic quick. So our winds are dying down. That is great news. That wind chill is slowly going to start to let up today. And hopefully that sunshine that's out there, I was actually outside before I left, and it was not bad. Like, the wind was still breezy, but it wasn't like crazy, I need to get inside immediately kind of wind. And that, I feel like, has been the wind that we've had for quite a while now with those wind gusts, because it's just been that so bitter cold with that wind coming in, especially last night, that it was just crazy cold. And with that wind, again, just bringing those temperatures down even more, it just felt even more cold than what we saw last night. So with that wind, again, it was just crazy astonishing how cold those temperatures got. But here is the wind of what we're going to be expecting for at least the next 12 hours. So here's what we're looking at right now. Winds still gusting to about 20 to 20 miles per hour, and we're slowly going to see those winds mellow down through the overnight tonight. We have beautiful sunshine out there right now, so it looks nice and is a little bit of a illusion, I guess. It looks warm when you step out, or when you look outside, but when you step outside, not so much. Temperatures right now lingering throughout the upper 40s here in Orlando, and temperatures are going to cool down through the overnight tonight. But again, because of those winds, we're not going to be having as much wind chill as we had through the overnight as well. So here's a look here. And again, I know this is Saturday PM. I haven't changed all of my headings yet today, but right now, we're seeing those temperatures throughout the mid and upper 40s here in Orlando. Right now, wind chills, because of those winds still blowing a little bit, it's bringing our temperatures down. But as we head through the rest of the overnight tonight, you can kind of see that line in between the wind chill and the actual temperature. It gets shorter and shorter, and that means that the wind is slowly starting to die down, so temperatures feel more what they actually are, as opposed to with the wind speeds, just that wind completely blowing your body heat away. So that's what we're going to see. But those winds are slowly starting to die down, but it's still going to be chilly through the overnight tonight. So that's something that we're really going to be keeping an eye on as we head through the rest of the evening. We're really just going to be monitoring that and the cold that we're going to be experiencing tonight. So speaking of which, let's talk about it. So we have another round of colds coming in tonight, and this is what's going to create chilly temperatures once again. So here are your lows as we head through the overnight tonight into your Monday morning. You will need to bundle up for sure. Temperatures are going to be throughout the upper 20s, mid 20s here in Orlando, low 20s once again in Gainesville. But again, temperatures are going to be still feeling roughly about what they are. So this is actually pretty accurate of what we are going to be feeling as you head out the door tomorrow morning. And I know a lot of folks are going to be on that morning commute. We'll talk about a little bit of car safety coming up a little bit later on. But for tomorrow morning's lows, it is still going to be chilly. So you're going to need the hat, you're going to need the heavy coat, you're going to need the gloves, you're going to need the scarf. So just make sure you do have that handy tonight, especially for the kids waiting out at the bus stop. They will need it for sure. So that's really what we're going to be focusing on as we head through the back half of this half hour for our show today. So cold tonight. It's going to be chilly tomorrow, but I promise if you are sick of this cold, don't worry. We are going to be seeing warmer temperatures on the way. Taking a look at Wednesday, we are back in the 70s. Okay, folks, so we have gotten your flurry reports in. We're going to be taking a look at those from all day yesterday and this morning. So stick with us. We're going to send you to a quick 2-minute break, and we will be right back. Stick with us. All right, folks, welcome back. As we headed through last night, probably last night, yesterday evening at about noon, I'd say, probably even a little bit before that, we got a ton of viewer photos, viewer reports of flurries. It all started in Tallahassee. Then we got reports from Jacksonville and basically all the way in the communities across I-10. There were a couple of verbal reports from Gainesville, and then this morning we got a ton of them from Citrus, Hernando, Pasco, Tampa, down to Bradenton, all through Pinellas County, even across St. Pete, all the way down to Cape Coral is where we saw flurry reports coming in from this morning. And here's just a map of how a rough area of where we did see those storm reports and those flurry reports come in. And it's actually really exciting that we saw flurries in Florida. And this is 2 years in a row now that we saw flurries in Florida. So kind of exciting stuff. And it was a it was a really tricky forecast to really kind of figure out if there was going to be flurries in these areas. Some of the models had flurries possibly coming all the way into central Polk County. That I was always kind of the feeling was a little far-fetched, but how many areas ultimately got in on just seeing a couple of flurries, it's exciting, especially when you haven't seen snow or haven't seen snow in a while. It's always exciting to see the first snow of the year or the first time you've seen snow and just seeing people's reactions as well. If you head over to Brooks's Twitter, he got in video yesterday from a couple's wedding, and it snowed on their wedding day in Florida. So it was just something that was really heartwarming, even with the cold. So it kind of just put you in like that very almost warm sense, even though those temperatures were very, very chilly. But here were your flurry reports from yesterday. Tallahassee, there was a ton. A couple of folks in Gainesville, Alachua, Levy County said that they had flurries, and we got photos and videos from them. And actually, here is the Alachua County one, because I have that right here. I also have the Florida State University flurries as well. And then we are getting tons of video from Tampa. But here's our flurries at Florida State University that we got in yesterday. Here were the flurries from Alachua County yesterday. And again, it kind of just puts you in a nice warm mood, even though we're really in those freezing and chilly temperatures. So through the overnight tonight, what are we going to be in for? It's the cold, for sure. And we're going to be in for another round of frigid cold temperatures, taking a look through the overnight tonight and tomorrow as well. So here are your AM cold temperatures as we head through the rest of the overnight tonight. So it's still going to be cold. Not going to feel as cold as yesterday, but it is going to be just as cold as we saw last night. So just make sure, again, you are bundled up. But a little bit of a hypothetical question for, actually not really so hypothetical because it actually happened. But in order for there to be snow in Florida and for there to be actual confirmed snow in Florida, you need a couple of things. And first and foremost, you need the cold air. Check, duh, we had that. But also, you need a little bit of moisture as well. You need cloud cover, you need active falling frozen precipitation. And we had these yesterday and this morning, just enough that there were flurries in Tampa Bay. Not enough to be measurable, but it still was nice to just see a couple of flurries. But something that was really interesting last night was that the Melbourne International Airport clocked in light snow. And here is the observations from that. You can see right at the bottom of your screen, it says light snow and breezy. But the sky conditions, they were clear. There was not a cloud in the sky, and the air temperature was above freezing. So how can there be snow? And I made a TikTok on this yesterday. So if you do not follow me on TikTok, meteorologist Laurel Blanchard, I also posted this on my Facebook and page as well. Go check it out because, again, those winds were so strong, especially along the coast yesterday. It actually picked up dust and dirt from the runway at the Melbourne International Airport, and that dust hit the sensor, and it got picked up as snow. So you can see it went from light snow and breezy to fair with clear skies, which unfortunately can't happen. But it was just a nice little thought that there could have been snow in Melbourne, but unfortunately it was dust and dirt as of yesterday. So National Weather Service did confirm that it was just dust hitting the sensor. But we did get a lot of flurry reports, and thank you all so much because your storm reports really help us verify our forecast. So thank you again so much for that. We really appreciate it. Any viewer photos, again, that you might have, any notes that you might have about any flurries, let us know, because that, again, just helps us verify our forecast and make us better meteorologists when the next snow event comes around. All right, so we talked about the possibility of snow, not with a couple of dusty details. We talked about your flurry reports. We'll talk a little bit more about the colds in a second, but as you're heading out on that morning commute tomorrow, it is going to be freezing once again. We are still under freeze warnings. We're still under cold advisories. And although it's not going to be as windy as it was this morning, so it's not going to feel as cold, it's still going to be cold. And we're seeing those temperatures once again throughout the 20s again. So it is just going to be freezing. And Monday morning is always crazy when it comes to the morning commute. And I am really lucky enough that I have a garage to park in, but if you do not have a garage to park in, here's just a couple of tips to make sure your car is ready for that morning commute tomorrow. Actually, crazy enough, before we even continue, I cleaned out my car just before I left for the station, and I had a water bottle in there that was so cold that I put it down on the table and it froze. So, that's just how cold it can be when the liquid is so cold that it just needs a little bit of a tap in order to become ice. That is how cold it was in Florida, and I'm hoping I'll be able to do that tonight. But for tomorrow, and if you were like me and saw this lovely symbol on your dashboard this morning, if you did fire up the car, low tire pressure always comes in with colder temperatures because the air inside your tire condenses. And so when that happens, you need to make sure your tires are filled up. Do not overfill your tires, so then they need to contract and then they rise again. Just make sure that they're always at that PSI that it says on your driver door sticker. Make sure your tires are filled, because probably lots of folks are going to be seeing this icon on their dashboard tomorrow. And it's not just these 20-degree temperatures that allow tire pressure to drop. It's any temperature under 60 degrees where we see that condensing happen. But it definitely took my battery a couple of seconds to kick in this morning when I first fired up my car. So when your car is warming up tomorrow for that Monday morning commute, give your car about 2 minutes to kind of warm up, get the fluids going, because the cold can actually thicken your fluids and make your battery work a little bit harder. So just make sure, again, you give your car a minute or two before you get on the road. Don't just jump on the highway. Allow your car to kind of drive at that moderate speed for a little bit, and then you can get on the highway and then get on to work if you do take that way. We're getting a couple of folks writing in on our Facebook page, writing in now. Megan Wigden said, I've been coming to Florida on vacation many, many years during the summer months and went through the humidity while on vacation. Yeah, Megan, if we're not complaining about the cold, we're not complaining about the humidity. So it is definitely, we're not built for this cold. We're built for humidity. So that is funny to kind of just see the juxtaposition between everything. And Stephen from Milwaukee also writing in, they worked for Universal Studios for over 11 years before moving back up and now currently in Milwaukee. Geez, that is a total 180 there, Stephen. You're getting every single weather known to man, especially across the U.S. So also, speaking of which, as you're heading out on your morning commute tomorrow, and this is also going to go for kiddos waiting out at the bus stop tomorrow morning, it is going to be cold. Whether you're standing out there for a minute or two, you're mom or dad or guardian is waiting at the car for you. Waiting outside is horrible, especially in the cold. So make sure you are ready for a chilly day tomorrow. Dress warm. I'm talking the heavy coat, the hat, the scarves, the boots, the heavy shoes, not just slippers or not just those pajama pants that I see a lot of kids wearing to school these days. Make sure you have the scarf. Make sure you have the hat, because just waiting outside for a couple of minutes, it does sting. It starts to sting. This cold this morning literally made my eyes water when I took Honey out for the first time this morning. And just make sure you do have the closed-toed shoes, the gloves, the hats. You saw Stephanie and Hannah and Jessica out there this morning. It's cold, so just make sure you are ready for that. Make sure you have the hoodie. Make sure you have the heavy winter jacket, because you will need it for sure, especially waiting out at the bus stop tomorrow morning or at the pickup line. It's going to be cold. And so that's just the biggest advice that I have coming up, especially tomorrow for that morning commute. You're going to need to bundle up for sure. So that's really what we're continuing to keep a track on is the cold. And the cold is really just what has been the biggest story for us here in Central Florida. I feel like this was almost preparing for a hurricane in a way because we're not used to this. Hurricane prep, yeah, we know, but cold prep was something a little bit different, like making sure your pipes are all set. Stephen writing in from Milwaukee on our Facebook page. I'm originally from New England, and now owning a home in Florida, our homes are built for wind and built for heat and making sure it's willing up to stand against a lot of moisture. So it's a lot of block and a lot of less insulation. So it was definitely interesting going through making sure that my home was okay before we really started to see those temperatures drop. So here's again those cold temperatures. We'll take a look at how cold exactly it was this morning with the help of TJ and Brooks coming up after the break. But stick with us. We're going to send you to a 2-minute break, and then we'll take one last look at your viewer photos. Stick with us. All right, folks, welcome back. We are almost at the end of our time, so I kind of want to have some fun at the end of this block, kind of gearing up for our next round of colds. And if you're still with us in the YouTube and Facebook comments, let us know. Even in this cold, and I'm a New Englander at heart, so I am running on Dunkin' 24/7. Same with Starbucks as well. In this cold, are you of a hot coffee or a cold coffee person? Because no matter what the temperature is, I am always an iced coffee person or an iced tea person, trying to drink more water, especially in this cold. So we're teeing it up today. But let us know in the comments if you are a warm person or warm drink person or cold drink person, especially when it comes to the cold. And Stephen, I feel like I know your answer coming from Milwaukee. But anyway, it is freezing out there today. Temperatures, again, lingering throughout the mid-40s as we speak right now at about 4 p.m. in Central Florida. This morning, we broke records of the cold. And just to kind of show you, once again, how cold it was this morning and how quickly that cold set in, I'm going to replay something from this morning. This is Brooks and TJ, and I was watching their coverage all morning long. These two, I feel like, were kids in a candy store doing all these little experiments this morning. And it just, again, made you feel warm on a really cold day. They did such a great job this morning. And even with these now new record lows, it just made you feel like that warm, fuzzy feeling this morning. So I'm going to replay this. This is how cold it was here in Central Florida this morning and how cold and quickly that cold set in earlier on. So Brooks, TJ, take it away, boys. I feel like you're going to have fun with this.
Here we are on the eve of the Florida freeze. We've been talking about the forecast, but we're going to talk about some preps now, how we're preparing. Jessica, what's on your agenda to get ready for this big polar plunge?
Yes, I am a new homeowner, so I've got a couple of things I'm watching out for. I know you've mentioned plants.
All right, speaking of checking on things, TJ has been running experiments on the weather deck. TJ, it's one thing to talk about it, another thing to show us just how cold it is. Tell us about what you're working on right now.
Brooks, the red polo that we've been talking about for the last hour, we have dunked it in the water. We have gone back inside. It's probably been about, a half hour now since we left it from the water, put it over here on the hanger. Let's go check this thing out here. It looks like it is frozen solid. We said icicles. We can see some icicles hanging off the sleeves. And just by feeling it, this thing feels like a board. I mean, let's see. I feel like I can stand it up. Yep, there it is. The Fox 35 Polo is standing at attention here this morning because of how cold it actually is. But I feel like a kid in a candy shop. Right? I got to do like the, let's see. I thought that was going to be a little more dramatic, but you can kind of see the the frost all over the shirt. I mean, it's like, Brooks, I can't believe it. Look at this thing. I mean, look, it's crazy. This is Mother Nature. This is the cold. This is the cold. This is how it feels outside. Love you too. Love you too.
Great job. This is here. Let me hand you.
Yeah. I'd like to see if we can put this on right now. I don't think we could, but I don't know if can I try? I don't even know if it's possible. I don't even think I can.
Freeze polo shirt. But what about these jeans?
Oh my gosh. I think these are going to be, I feel like we could probably make a whole outfit here. We could stand them up.
We'll have to pose it a certain way. Yeah. All right, we'll show you that in the next half hour. All right, here. I'm going to run back inside.
Okay, sounds good. Go get warm.
That's ridiculous looking.
Yeah, I mean, this is the sign of how cold it really is. And I'm looking at the pole. It's kind of tough to see, but we sprayed it here a little bit earlier, and you can kind of see the ice. I mean, and that could be some of the roads around Central Florida here this morning if somehow irrigation systems did happen to go off. So just travel carefully if you are getting out, but we are having fun trying to showcase how intense this Florida freeze really is. But gosh, holding that polo.
And true, it was really intense this morning, and you can see the boys were having fun this morning. I'll let them have their fun. We're going to be seeing that level of cold once again through the overnight tonight. Again, it's not going to be feeling as frigid just because there's not going to be as much wind, but still, it's going to be cold. So with it, once again, another look at the temperatures that we're going to be feeling through the overnight tonight as we kind of wrap up this stream. And I do want to take one last look at your viewer photos. Y'all spent so much time sending in our photos, so we want to show them off for sure. They deserve to be shown off, absolutely. So as we head through the rest of the overnight tonight, our temperatures are just going to tank, and I hope everyone's ready for it. I believe this is the right graphic. Come on. Here we go. Yep. So we're going to be seeing those temperatures going from the mid 40s right now and then just tanking from there. By midnight, it is going to be below 32 degrees, falling into the mid 20s here in Orlando. So that's how quickly those temperatures are going to drop. We're going to be seeing about a 20-degree drop within the next 8 hours. So it is going to be cold for sure. Again, through the overnight tonight. Probably not feeling as cold just because of the no wind, but still, these temperatures are still frigid. So here's a look at those temperatures of what we're going to be feeling through the overnight tonight. Again, we're really just going to be seeing those temperatures drop, and here is another look at that. These are the lows tonight. Currently, temperatures are lingering throughout the mid and upper 40s. It's still cold. Usually for this time of year here in Orlando, we're in the upper 60s, low 70s. So seeing the 40s as highs, geez, yeah, that's that's definitely a cold shock to the system for sure. We're not used to that. And we're still going to be seeing those temperatures frigid as we head through the overnight tonight. So here is what we're seeing now. Temperatures, again, mid 40s. They're going to continue to drop, and that's mainly due to those clear skies. As soon as that sun goes down, those temperatures are going to tank, and we're going to be below freezing by midnight. So these temperatures are really going to get cold really quick as soon as that sun goes down. So just to prep, if you do have any dinner plans tonight, it's going to be cold. So I just hope you're aware of that. And again, we're seeing those temperatures once again in the 20s through the overnight tonight, which means we do have a Fox 35 storm team alert in effect through the overnight as well. So hope you're prepared, everybody. Here's a quick look at your 7-day forecast because listen, I always like to look on the good side of things. I always like to be more on the optimistic side of everything as well. And Monday, it's going to be warmer, cool to start, but warmer than what we did see today. And then we are back in the 70s taking a look on Wednesday. So it's going to be chilly. Hopefully it's going to be a little bit warmer, but taking a look ahead into the further ahead models, we may see another round of this cold, or maybe not something this dramatic, but we could be seeing those cooler than average temperatures taking a look towards the second and third week of February. So that's something that we're going to be possibly keeping an eye on as we head through the next couple weeks and the first couple weeks of February. So that's what we're looking at right now. If you're sick of this cold, look forward to Wednesday. We're back in the 70s, and then we kind of linger throughout the mid 60s, upper 70s as we take a look ahead. All right, folks, I want to take one last look at your viewer photos. We got so many in yesterday, and again, thank you so much for sending those in. We truly appreciate it. So just taking you through the videos that we got through yesterday, the videos that we got through today. These are the flurries that we saw in Alachua from yesterday. These are the icicles that we got in from the Universal Ball this morning because of the cold and because of the mist. This is some of the just those perfectly encapsulated trees from the ice in Oviedo. This is from Apopka earlier on this morning. Looks like a lot of folks, I was almost one of them, forgot to turn my sprinkler system off. Then it would have been like an ice rink in my front yard. This is also from JJ and Jonathan McKenzie and De Leon Springs. And then we also have just, again, so many photos. And personally, my favorites were the puppies and sweaters. So thank you all for taking care of your pets, taking care of your people, taking care of your pipes, pools, plants, everything that you did, and just kind of listening to us and taking those proper cold precautions to make sure you were good. So all of the puppies and sweaters made me so happy. I have a dog at home, and she was let outside this morning, went outside, and was underneath a blanket about a half a second after she got back in. But it's even like squirrels even got the memo as well about the Florida freeze. So stick with us. We're going to have more coverage on the cold tonight. We're going to be on our Fox Local app from 5 to 5:30, and then we'll be back on stream from 7 to 8 o'clock, and then we'll continue our coverage later on tonight at 10 of round 2 of the Florida freeze that's coming up later on tonight. But again, this morning was something. And we're going to continue to see that freezing cold as we head through the overnight tonight, as we are in for another round of freeze warnings coming up through the rest of the overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. So be prepared for that. Again, we broke records this morning, so that just means that the cold is here and we're slowly going to be seeing those temperatures drop as soon as that sun goes down through the overnight tonight. Be prepared for freezing temperatures all across the region once again as we head through tomorrow morning. So as you're heading out for that morning commute, make sure the kids are bundled up, make sure you're bundled up. Give your car a couple of extra seconds to warm up before you hit the road tomorrow morning, and just stay safe. Stay warm out there, Central Florida. And if anyone has any photos, videos, please send them to us, fox35@fox.com. We would love to show off your photos and videos. And again, thank you all so much for writing in, letting us know how cold it was in your hometown this morning. We truly appreciate it. And thank you again so much. And well, hopefully you'll stay warm through the rest of the evening, but make sure you tune in later on tonight at 5. All right, folks, stay warm, stay safe, and we'll see you later.